Second week in court for the trial of Sean Diddy Combs, who has pleaded not guilty to charges of sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and more. On Friday, Combs' ex, Cassie Ventura, wrapped up a total of more than 20 hours of testimony, which was given over the course of several days. So here to help us recap the trial's first week and a look ahead is defense attorney Josh Kolsrud. So good morning, Josh.
Good morning.
Good talking to you. That was an explosive first week, wasn't it?
It was. We heard explosive testimony from several witnesses, but most importantly from Cassie Ventura, who is really the main victim in this case. And she testified for 4 days, Tuesday through Friday, and she did so while being 8.5 months pregnant. And so what she did was truly remarkable as a victim, being able to do that and really show your soul before the entire world, but also to these 16 jurors who, obviously didn't know her before this.
What do you think was most important in her testimony, or most damning towards Diddy?
So the most damning part of her testimony, really the most damning thing about the case, is the video showing P. Diddy brutally assaulting Cassie Ventura at the InterContinental Hotel in 2016. The reason why it's so significant is that it proves at least 3 of the 4 crimes that P. Diddy is charged with, including the RICO case. So if you recall, in the RICO, which is a criminal enterprise, and there has to be 2 predicate offenses, and you have those here. You have the kidnapping, when P. Diddy was dragging her back to the hotel room and she was not free to leave even though she intended to do so. That's kidnapping. And then you also have bribery, because it's alleged through testimony that P. Diddy offered the security guard $100,000 to destroy that video, and thank God he didn't. And he took a recording device and recorded the video just in case somebody deleted it, which happened. But he had the wherewithal to know to do that.
I was reading that the fact that she's pregnant, jurors will probably see that as a plus, because she comes across as a mom.
She's very sympathetic, and this isn't like the Amber Heard situation with the Johnny Depp case, where the defense successfully was able to show that she wasn't a good person all the time and that she wasn't very credible. Both sides have kind of conceded that she's a nice person and that the entire case really is just whether or not she consented. But the problem is that the defense has to show that she didn't consent, or say that she did consent for all of them. All the prosecution has to show is that she didn't consent even once. And in that video, it's very apparent that Cassie did not consent to what P. Diddy was wanting her to do.
I was also reading that Combs was reading a Bible, and I mean, jurors are smarter than that, aren't they?
Yeah,
is that a setup?
As a defense attorney, you certainly want to portray your client in a better light than what the prosecution is doing. But there's a point where you go too far, where you're seen almost like a charlatan. And, these jurors are not going to like that. He's being dressed kind of like Mr. Rogers. Yeah. He has his Bible, when, we all know that, he's not a preacher, at least in the religious sense. And it's kind of making the jurors seem like, like there's a perception that they're not very smart, and that's not going to go well, I think, in the end.
All right, so we've got more witnesses ahead, and this is really interesting. It looks like it's going to go weeks and weeks and weeks, right?
Yeah, so the prosecution gave notice that their case in chief should last 3 to 4 weeks. Okay. But it's been, the jurors were screened for up to 8 weeks.
It's going to be interesting to see what his defense is. All right, Josh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen.